Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodananda Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe.
Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe.
Jayo Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jayo Nitai Gauranga. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, text number 23. Yannavrajantiya gabido rachananuvadhaj Shanvanti ye anya vishaya kukatamatignihi Yastu shrutahata bhagain nribirata saras Tam stan kshipantya saraneshu tamashu hanta Yanna vrajantya gabido rachananuvadhaj Sranvanti ye anya vishayaha kukatamati gati Yastu shrutahata bhagain nribirata saras Tam stan kshipantya saraneshu tamashu hanta Yanna vrajantya gabido rachananuvadha Sranvanti ye anya vishayaha kukatamatignihi Yastu shrutahata bhagain nribirata saras Tam stan kshipantya saraneshu tamassu hanta word to word meaning. Yat Vaikunta na never vrajanti approach agabidaha of the vanquisher of all kinds of sins, rachana of the creation, anuvada the narrations, shanvanti here ye those who, anya other, vishayaha subject matter, kukataha bad words, matignihi killing intelligence, ya which, tu but, krutaha are erred, atabagaihi unfortunate, nribi by men, ata taken away, saraha values of life, tantan such persons, shipanti are thrown, asharaneshu devoid of all shelter, tamasso in the darkest part of material existence, anta alas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets, but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and take to talk of the material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. Please repeat the translation. It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets, but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and talk of the material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. Purport. The most unfortunate persons are the impersonalists, who cannot understand the transcendental variegatedness of the spiritual world. They are afraid to talk about the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets because they think that variegatedness must be material. Such impersonalists think that the spiritual world is completely void, or in other words, that there is no variegatedness. This mentality is described here as kukata matignihi, intelligence bewildered by unworthy words. The philosophies of voidness and of the impersonal situation of the spiritual world are condemned here because they bewilder one's intelligence. How can the impersonalist and the void philosopher think of this material world which is full of variegatedness and then say that there is no variegatedness in the spiritual world? It is said that this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So unless there is variegatedness in the spiritual world, how can there be temporary variegatedness in the material world? That one can transcend this material world does not imply that there is no transcendental variegatedness. Here in the Bhagavatam, in this verse particularly, it is stressed that people who try to discuss and understand the real spiritual nature of the spiritual sky and the Vaikunthas are fortunate. The variegatedness of the Vaikuntha planets is described in relation to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. But instead of trying to understand the spiritual abode and the spiritual activities of the Lord, people are more interested in politics and economic developments. They hold many conventions, meetings and discussions to solve the problems of this worldly situation, where they can remain for only a few years. But they are not interested in understanding the spiritual situation of the Vaikuntha world. If they are at all fortunate, they become interested in going back home, back to Godhead. But unless they understand the spiritual world, they rot in this material world, material darkness continuously. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण जन्म श्री निताय गौरंग की यन्ना व्रजन्त्यगविधो रचनानुवादः शृण्वन्ति ये अन्य विषयाः कुकातमधिग्निः यास्तु श्रुताः तबगैर्निबिरात्तसारस्तं स्तन् क्षिपन्ति असरणेषु तमस्सु हन्ता. It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets, but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which should bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and take to talk of the material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. Well, you see, we all associate or think, act, everything according to our consciousness. Our state of consciousness dictates our actions, our feelings, our emotions, our thinking. Everything is dependent on the state of consciousness. So here it is being said that it is regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. So Shukadev Goswami is saying it's very unfortunate that people are not interested to discuss the various aspects of the Vaikuntha planet. Rather, they are engaged in hearing the various activities of this material world. So why do people do it? People do it because that's their state of consciousness. We act, we think, everything is dependent on our state of consciousness. If we are spiritually energized, with full of Krishna consciousness, you won't feel like indulging in any of these things. You see, when we have done nice service, when we have done nice chanting, when we have done nice deity worship, when we have read Srimad Bhagavatam nicely, we only want to discuss matters of Krishna and be in Krishna consciousness. We are not interested. Automatically, mind, body system behaves in such a way that we will not be inclined towards any material activity. You don't have to make extra effort to stop yourself from indulging in material activities. That is the normal consequences or a normal consequence of practicing Krishna consciousness. So a devotee of the Lord, a sadhaka, must ensure that his entire day he is fully utilized in the various activities of Krishna consciousness as given to us by our superiors and the direction of Srila Prabhupada's, under the direction of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Only if we are acting like that, then only our we can achieve the fixed position of being fully focused on the aspects, the various aspects of Krishna consciousness, or in other words, the Vaikuntha consciousness. What does Vaikuntha consciousness means? Thinking, willing, feeling, all actions have only one purpose. And that purpose is to satisfy Krishna. There is no other purpose. One and only purpose. How I can serve, how I can engage. That it will lead to making Krishna happy. That is the only purpose. Material consciousness means how my body, my mind, my senses will be happy. Krishna consciousness means immaterial of my body, immaterial of my mind, immaterial of my senses. That is Krishna consciousness. We disregard the pains and pleasures of our material existence, which includes our body, mind, and senses. Krishna consciousness means, irrespective of what our body, mind, and states existence are, it has to be situated in activities connected to Krishna. Activities connected to satisfy Lord Krishna. Just like, for example, we all want to sleep early in the morning. That's a demand of our body, mind, and senses. Our body, mind, and senses are asking, please, you take rest. But Krishna consciousness demands that we wake up early. Prabhupada says you should wake up by 4 in the morning. So irrespective of what the demand of the ideal situation, the standard of operation is, yes, body is demanding rest, body is demanding so many things. But the purpose of Krishna consciousness is superior. And so, I will wake up. I don't want to go and meet strangers and ask donation for the temple. Very embarrassing. I will be insulted. They will tell no. No. It is my service to my spiritual master. I have a mission to achieve. Krishna consciousness is a mission. It's a missionary activity. I am a missionary. I have to do so many things. We have to build temples. We have to do so many activities. We have to distribute books. We have to distribute prasadam. We have to preach Krishna consciousness. For that we have to create an organization. For that we have to create so many things. So it doesn't matter. I will engage. This is the mood a devotee has to cultivate constantly. Devotee mood means, oh, this place, he doesn't think, this place is not nice. Bangalore was so nice. Bombay was so nice. Vrindavan is so nice. So many things are there. Here, small temple, no money, Devotee doesn't think all these things. Or a devotee should not think like this. Or when a devotee starts getting these kind of thoughts, immediately he should lift himself from that consciousness and think about the purpose for which I exist. We should immediately think, what is the purpose I came? How to lift myself? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Uddared Atmanam Atmanam Na Atmavad Avasayet. What is that full verse? Uddared Atmanam Atmanam Na Atmanam Avasadayet. Atmaiva Atmano Bandhur Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. Krishna is saying a man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. Degrade means material consciousness. No, to think, no, this is better place, that is better place. Trying to alter our material situation. Altering our material situation means that is bad consciousness. Prabhupada in the purport says, what does Prabhupada says? But instead of trying to understand the spiritual abode and the spiritual activities of that Lord, people are more interested in politics and economic developments. They hold many conventions, meetings and discussions to solve the problems of this worldly situation, where they can remain for only a few years. But they are not interested in understanding the spiritual situation of the Vaikuntha world. If they are at all fortunate, they become interested in going back home, back to Godhead. But unless they understand the spiritual world, they rot in this material darkness continuously. So it's very stupid. Oh, if I go to another place, if I go here, my material here, so much of troubles are there. Let me go there, let me go here. It will not help. Krishna consciousness is looking beyond our comfort levels. It is not at all about your comfort. Krishna consciousness is all about how to give comfort to Guru and Krishna. Our mind is the culprit. Because of our mind, we get into so many problems. In the same verse, in this Uddaradatmanam 6.5, Prabhupada in the purport is quoting, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayaha. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshanam. The reason for our imprisonment is the mind. Bandhaya vishaya sango muktayaiva nirvishayam manaha. For man, mind is the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. The same mind is cause for bondage and the same mind is also the cause for our liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects, bandhaya vishaya sangaha. Bondage, how it happens? When it becomes vishaya sangaha. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and muktayaiva nirvishayam manaha. Muktayaiva nirvishayam manaha. Mind detached from the sense objects is the cause of liberation. Therefore, how you can do? Mind attach Mind will attach. Mind detach. You cannot detach like that. You have no control over that. Mind on, mind off. There is no switch like that. Light on, light off you can do. Mind on, mind off you can't do. What is the solution? Solution here Prabhupada is saying. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation. If our mind is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, it becomes immaterial. Whether we are small temple, big temple, the people are not giving money, people are not giving money, they are doing like this, devotees are problem. All those things will be non-issue at all. We can see all problems arise, especially in our devotee perspective. All problems of a devotee comes when he is not engaged in Krishna consciousness. He will start finding fault in anything and everything. He will find the authority is not good, the temple is problem, that is problem, this is problem, facility problem. Every problem's root cause is our mind. If our mind is constantly engaged, then we will not be able to see all these kind of things. You will be fully situated in Krishna. Just like the English proverb, empty vessels make too much noise. Kali bartan, jyada awaaz. It's like that. Prabhupada in this, Krishna in this next verse, after the verse of Uddared Atmanam Atmanam Na Atmanam Avasadayed Atmai Vai Atmano Bandhur Atmai Vai Ripuratmana. What is the next verse? Krishna says, this is also very beautiful verse. Krishna is saying, Bandhuratmanas Bandhuratmatmanas tasya yenatmai vatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartet atmaiva shatruvat. See, Krishna is so logical. No, there won't be any better person who can describe how one can overcome from all these difficulties. Krishna is so beautifully saying, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. Bandhur atmatmanastasya yenatmai vatmana jita anatmanastu shatrutve vartet atmaiva shatruvat. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. The purpose of practicing Eightfold Yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. See, Prabhupada is saying, we say constitutional position of the living entity is to be servant of Krishna. Prabhupada is saying no. Or Prabhupada is giving another point. The constitutional position of a living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. After this, what is the next verse? Krishna says, Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samayitaha shitoshna sukha dukkheshu tata manapamanayo. See, once you have conquered the mind, then what happens? For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. So, if we are in Krishna consciousness, if our state of consciousness is Krishna consciousness, then automatically we will be in this consciousness. Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samayitaha. If we are in Krishna consciousness, we will be sheltered by the Paramatma. Paramatma samayitaha. We will be in the samayitaha, completely in connection with the Paramatma. So it will not matter to us whether it is hot, whether it is cold, whether it is insulting, painful, nothing. It is like a kavacha. We are protected by the best defense that is possible. So, Bhagavatam is talking about how it is, why we cannot achieve that state of consciousness. It is so, person who is reading this, he will start contemplating. Yes, I should not fall trapped into this. Because it is this material world, or the topics of this material world. In the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto it is described. Vayasam Tirtha. Vayasam Tirtha means what? It is the place of pilgrimage for crows. Which is the place where the crows will enjoy their life in scraps, in trash. Whereas, where will devotees enjoy? Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abaddavatyapi namanyanantasya ankitani shrunvanti gayanti grananti sadavaha. Devotees, it doesn't matter to him whether things are done very poetically or all those kind of things. Tadvag visargo janataga viplava yasmin pratishlokam abaddavatyapi namanyanantasya yasho ankitani shrunvanti grayanti grananti sadava. Yasho ankitani. What matters to them is not about all these things, how good, what poetic, no. Rather, any person who has written Yasha Ankitani, one who has described the glories of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, that is very, very pleasing. Shrunvanti, they take great pleasure in Shrunvanti, in hearing, in singing, in chanting, in reciting. Shrunvanti gayanti grananti sadava. Sadhavas take great pleasure in hearing, in reciting, in remembering the great descriptions of the opulences, of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Doesn't matter to them whether it is poetic, non-poetic, no. That is the sadhu's thinking, his interest. Whereas Materialist interests are Dibayasam Tirtha. Go and enjoy so-called material trash. Devotees enjoy, devotees feel so nice when they go to a holy place. They are thinking, oh, this is Vrindavan, this is Mayapur, this is Jagannath Puri, this is Dwaraka. So many devotees, so many leelas have taken place here. That's the state of consciousness. Materialist, what is this place? So dirty. All some Baba type people are there, no clothes, so dirty looking. Devotees, when they go, and when we go to, for preaching also, if you have to go to some big cities, and we see the big city people, no clothes, artificial makeup, drinking, boozing, all kinds of things are activity. We feel embarrassed. Oh, please, let's go to our house. We want to avoid. It becomes very embarrassing for us. Right? No, let's go. I don't want to see. Let's go. We say like that. You see, that is the nature of consciousness. We don't want that. We don't want to sit in that place. Of course, for preaching purpose, we may have to go. But that's not our interest. What is there to see there? Rather, we become embarrassed. We feel, what is this? I remember one person in Bangalore whom I had met long time back. He was telling me, he is basically a Vrajvasi. He had met me. So he is from Mathura. So he was telling me that how he came to Bangalore for doing his engineering. So imagine a boy from Mathura coming to Bangalore. So different. The lifestyle is so different, right? He has lived in the gullies of Mathura and is coming to Bangalore. Saying, Prabhu, I was feeling so out of place. Here I was saying. Then suddenly one day, at that time, he was a little older person. I think he came in the early 80s to Bangalore to study engineering that time. Because in India at that time, engineering colleges were very less. And Karnataka had some of the large number of engineering colleges even that time. So he was telling me that when I came in the 80s, I started living in the hostel. I totally lost. There I used to see morning devotees, temple bells ringing. Here nothing is there. I'm feeling lost. So then suddenly I was going somewhere. Then I saw some devotees in dhoti kurta, tilak, and they are singing and dancing. I was so happy. And he's saying in Mathura, I never used to go to the temple like that. I had, but then not so much like that. But as soon as I saw in the old Bellary temple, before the Hare Krishna hill, before we came to Rajaji Nagar, there was another place, one house was there, one bungalow. We came to Hare Krishna hill in 1889, I think. So pre-89. So pre-89 they used to live in one Bellary Road. I have seen, because the bus used to pass that Bellary Road place. So I have seen devotees there. I used to see, what is this? I was in school that time. So he used to say that I saw. And then after that, every Sunday he started going to the Bellary Road temple. And he said every Sunday for me was like going back to my house. And that is Krishna consciousness. We should start feeling this is my house, this is my life. This other consciousness, when it is not my consciousness, it's a fake consciousness that I have picked up. It is not my original consciousness. It's not, like Prabhupada is saying here, constitutional position. Material world means how to become Ishvara. Ishvara means what? How I decide how to enjoy. I am the enjoyer. That is Ishvara's consciousness. Spiritual consciousness means Krishna is the enjoyer. I am the enjoyed. The mood is that. Krishna is the enjoyer, I am enjoyed. Simple consciousness. If we can remain like that, in that state of consciousness, we have achieved perfection of our life. So the material consciousness Prabhupada is giving, Bhagavatam is saying here, Kukata matignihi, Kukata magni. Somebody who is interested in various listening, understanding the various aspects of this material world, he is called Kukata matignihi. Intelligence bewildered by unworthy words. So you see, intelligence bewildered. Just like, for example, our children, sometimes, if they are having bad association with some porky boys, if they associate, you will not understand what is porky. In South India, we call porky means somebody who is like, from the slums. So with some slum boys and all, if children start associating, from good houses, if they start mingling with the slum boys, what will they do? The slum boys will do gali. Right? They will use bad words. That same boy will come to the house and do what? He will also use gali. So here it is being kukataha, material talks is compared to kukataha. You will develop kukataha. You will start using abusive words. Abusive words means talking about my enjoyment. So Shukadev Goswami is saying, unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. Bewilders our intelligence. Sangat sanjayate kama. What sangha we associate, we develop that kind of desires. We'll stop here if there's any question, comments. Paramatma is already? See, as soon as you say, I feel, there itself there is a contradiction. So it's not like when you say I feel, that means you want your ahankara to feel. Somebody who is in that state of consciousness, he acts in that consciousness. He doesn't say, like Prabhupada used to always say, if somebody says, like for example, even when Prabhupada, have you seen God? Prabhupada never gave an answer to that question of have you seen God. Prabhupada used to say, supposing if I say I have seen God, how will you verify? And if I say I have not seen God, then also you cannot verify. So, Paramatma feeling, I feel, you don't, think like that. So, you can make out, like for example, your consciousness very clearly. Right? And that is to completely understand our state of consciousness, it needs very matured level of achievement of Krishna consciousness practices. So right now, our idea of Paramatma guidance is through actively engage in Krishna conscious practices. So we will limit our association with Krishna conscious, with Paramatma, to the degree of our engagement in Krishna consciousness, starting from a sadhana to a service, everything. So if we are doing all those things, we can say that to some degree I am in line with Paramatma, like that. But whether it is guiding, and under the association of devotees and things like that, we can manage to be in that state of existence. But to verify all those things is not basically how a devotee sees things. He never tries to verify and all those things. So then this sort of verification, examination, it is driven by material consciousness. See, what happens in neophyte stage is that the circuit is not stable. That is the problem. Light आता है, बंद हो जाता है. Light आता है, बंद हो जाता है. It is a loose connection, not a proper connection. We engage when we sometimes we feel ecstasy also. It's not that we don't feel, but one moment we'll chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Next moment we engage in sense gratification. That is a problem. So we are not fixed. So we are all, many times all of us have been guided by Paramatma. We have experienced mystical things. And sometimes some new devotees also experience. This happened, that happened. So will we tell him, oh, you are Paramatma realized person? It is not that, you cannot say it is realization. Krishna's energy has acted on him. He has touched, but he has detached also. That is the problem. And actually, that is what gives us the energy and the inspiration to go on also. Because we touch Krishna at times and we have experienced that consciousness. So that gives us the endurance to no. Still I want to run behind that. Because somewhere I have tasted that rasa. Otherwise you cannot be in Krishna consciousness. For a long time, if you don't taste Krishna consciousness, you will leave. You have to repeatedly touch. So when we come daily morning, Mangalati, chanting, reading, going service, everything, we are touching. Oh yes, it's giving us that spurti, that energy to go on. With dry way, we cannot practice Krishna consciousness. We need constantly boosting our Krishna conscious feelings and emotions. Otherwise, it is not sustainable. Then material desires will take over. This is not there. I want this. I want that. That will make me happy. This will make me happy. That's endless. So at one point, you will tell, this is not there. That's why I am living. You will find some alibi, some false reason to give up in Krishna consciousness. If there is a rasa that is constantly being gained in Krishna consciousness, we can sustain. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की.